I do somewhat suspect that is due to the fact he's not been upgrading centres of trade. These are both level 1s. It's very easy to consolidate trade power in Alexandria just by owning these Mamluk core territories, which they are doing. And in fact, they own every single trade node in Alexandria. So it should be really simple for them to just lock this place down. Because if you come up against someone, if you're sending trade ships to a player which has set up at least level 2 centres of trade with marketplaces, just the provincial trade power is going to be phenomenal, and you're going to need to expend a lot of money and a lot of influence to try and pull the trade out of that position. So it'd be a lot easier trying to pull the trade in from behind and then ship it towards Aleppo as opposed to going through Alexandria. So Alexandria may well start becoming a bit of a black hole. This is also one of the reasons why the Europeans try to go around the Cape, is because the Islamic nations, most notably the Ottomans, were keeping all of the money in Constantinople, and not much of it, well, the trade, sorry, not money. And the European powers wanted to find a way of subverting the monopoly that they had held. Did England just go Anglican? No. No Anglican yet. The next question is, are any players actually doing much naval trade? So if we sort this by light ships, we can see that England have 24, so England might be. Or England's privateering. We'll need to see exactly what their fleets are doing. Friesland have 15. The Kamchandals having the third largest trade fleet. Tunis with 12, and then Castile, France, and the Ottomans all with 10. So a little bit of early trade manipulation probably going on, although the tech level right now is level 8. So a level 9 with the advance of caravels, I'm expecting a lot more people to start building trade ships. Because with barks, I find they don't really pay for themselves, but caravels are starting to, and that's when you kind of start swinging away from just natural trade through provinces to trade being influenced by trade wars. Not trade wars. Trade influence. Power. Can't understand why the Ottomans are converting the Balkans. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to get a more synonymous nation? Or maybe they don't care about the ulema. I mean, they still have a fair old amount of development here. Is it the ulema? No, it's the dhimmi. It's the dhimmi that I'm talking about. They are not very loyal. They are losing tech bonuses and tolerance of heathens. So it does kind of look like they're just trying to get rid of the dhimmi at the moment. Although that is going to reduce the strength of some of this stuff. I've never actually played as the Ottomans, so I don't really know how this works. They're going to lose their special... Oh, can you only get Janissaries in these provinces? Yes. And apparently you can have Pashas as well. Yeah, never played as the Ottomans, so I have no idea how that works. Well, let's take a quick look at the Ottoman army.
Mordred.
Hello.
Excuse me, sorry. Chugging my cereal. Hold on. Emperor, the most powerful man in Europe, dies at breakfast. Okay.
I'm sure that's happened.
Oh, well, certainly. Excuse me. Your mod.
Yes.
With regard to getting colonialism, you had to complete the colonial ideas, or the exploration ideas?
Complete exploration, yes.
Okay. I have done so, and I do not see colonialism spreading in me. Is it just outside of Europe? Oh, no, there. Well, I think that's actually carrying over from across the sea.
Because it spawned in Castile.
So that only applies to nations outside of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
That benefit. Okay. Okay.
Well, not necessarily outside of Europe, outside of wherever it spawned. That's
okay,
how I set it
because I'm not getting it naturally.
Yeah, so if it spawned in, say, Japan, then you and Europe would get it that way.
By getting it that way, okay. But if it spawns in Europe,
then Europeans
and I just do the complete, then Europeans can't. I see. So it depends on where in the world it spawns first. Okay.
Yes.
And if you share that continent zone, you just can't get it that way. Gotcha.
And it's the same with all of them. I've set them all up that way.
Okay. All right. I guess that's fair. That makes sense. Wanted to check that because I just completed it. It was like, was I supposed to be getting colonialism ideas? Oh, God, whatever.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm going to double check the other nations to see if they're getting it. The ones outside of Europe. But yeah, cool, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so Malacca, I would say, is probably the one which is going to be the closest to getting exploration ideas. They do not have it yet. Japan have taken expansions. They're not going to get it. And then Kamchandals might. Kamchandals are in the same position as Malacca. So the race is on. Is Siberia going to get colonialism first, or is Malacca? And I'm just going to double check that it has not started to spread over here at all. Naturally, no. Colonialism is very much stuck over there. Although Oirat has started to get Renaissance, and Renaissance is spreading to Japan, and then starting to make its way down through China. Jaunpur, of the three major Indian nations, does not have Renaissance yet, and neither does Malacca. I think the other players will. Oh no, Congo doesn't. Although, no, Congo is starting to get it to spread to them as well. That looks like it was done naturally. Might have been... Oh no, they were getting knowledge sharing from Portugal, weren't they? And then the other one, of course, who will not have it yet, are going to be the Inca. I'm hoping I can get that error to go away. There we go. So the Inca still not having finished their reforms. They're on 71 authority. They've done 4 of them. That's actually an additional one since the last time we checked. So they are improving their authority pretty quickly. They get 7.6 a month from development. So the bigger the nation is, the faster they go. And then we have got reform the bureaucracy. Yana Lords. Oh no, reform Cult of Inti is not finished yet. I did not notice that wasn't actually coloured in. So they still have 2 reforms to go. Which I think is actually... Yeah, they were on 2 before, they've now got 3. Where are the Kamchandals? The Kamchandals are here in Kamchatka. And I have it on good authority that they're going to be trying to spread towards Alaska. I'm actually a little bit curious about why they haven't done so already. So if we take a look at colonial range, this is in range. Aleut is now a possible expansion path for the Kamchandals, although they are still with a fair amount of Siberian territory around them, so they might be trying to do that. The other thing I was wondering about is trade. So the Kamchandals did have a rather large trade fleet, and I'm wondering what exactly they're trying to do with that. So trade does flow to Jiren from America. Yeah, Alaska, California trade node feeds into Jiren, which is interesting. I had not known that. And then there is another one which also feeds into the same way, which I think is this one, which I think is Mexico. I think Mexico feeds into Nippon, and then Alaska feeds into Jiren. So you learn something every day. I did not know that. So Jiren currently is worth 1.6 ducat, of which quarter is going to Oirat. And Kamchandal's getting 14%, Japan's getting about the same. So not currently worth a huge amount of money. There is a fight going on down here. Is this just the Kamchandals fighting? Or is this a war on behalf of Oirat? Ainu versus Nivk. So let's take a look at these. Nanbu and Kamchandals. So this is not a war on behalf of Oirat. This is the Kamchandals actually going after those territories for themselves. Alright, let's take a look at other wars going on. So we have Ajam going after Hormuz and Khorasan. So just trying to expand their territories there. Hello.
It's the papers here.
Hello.
I thinking about discussing a few things that I've heard.
Interesting. Go on then.
If that's alright with you, I'm thinking like some of the past sessions, what's happened. Like you were a bit surprised about the papacy becoming an elector.
Yes, we were talking about that earlier.
Yes. Well, basically the emperor inquired of me if does the papacy wish to rejoin the empire, and which I said yes, as long as I become an elector, so I get some political leeway.
Mm-hmm.
Also because I thought that by becoming an elector I could get rid of the ability for staying in the empire.
Mm-hmm.
I was sadly wrong about that part, but I'm an elector now.
Sorry, you cut out there, so you could get rid of what?
The debuff from staying in the empire.
Oh, the Shadow Kingdom.
Yeah, submission to the emperor.
Mm-hmm.
And so that didn't go as planned, but still it was worth it, I would say.
So is there a way of getting rid of that? Because that is a really, really annoying modifier.
I don't know. As far as I understand it, you can't. I thought that if the lighter would help it, but I've been trying to see if becoming emperor or culture shift from Italian to something German would help, but as far as I could see on the forums, nothing seems to help. I have not experimented myself, but...
Yeah, I do remember there was one game I was playing, I think as Florence, where I didn't submit, and... I did submit, rather, and I was stuck with that penalty, I think, as far as I could remember. Forever. So, it's a painful one. It's definitely a painful one. That +3 unrest is gonna hurt.
Oh yeah. Thankfully, I am the papacy, so as long as they stay Catholic, my provinces, I get, well, tolerance of the true faith is 9, so...
Oof, crikey! -9 unrest. So as long as you just stay in Catholic territories, you're fine. But as soon as you start to expand and you need to start converting people, that's when the problems are going to be.
Absolutely. Which is kind of why I got, like, France becoming Protestant was like, I don't care. I've told most people, like, I don't care if you switch to another domination of Christianity, just stay Christian.
Right. Well, France has actually switched to Reformed. They're having their second Reformation.
Which is what was annoying, because the Protestant one sent to us in the north, this one is in the south, and it's starting to affect me. Right.
It's not that close to you yet, but it might start affecting, for example, Milan.
Oh yeah, most certainly. But still, the state of Provence is a bit too close for comfort.
Yes, that's true. So what do you reckon is going to happen with the Reformation? Like, has Austria said that they'll stay Catholic?
Ulm and Austria said they're going to stay Catholic.
Okay. And I'm guessing that Iberia will, just because Spain gets big bonuses to papal influence.
Yes, as far as I understand, they're going to stay.
Okay, so chat is saying you can get rid of the modifier if you become the Emperor.
Sorry, you cut off there for part of me. What did you say?
Chat is currently saying that you can get rid of the Shadow Empire by becoming Emperor.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the Pope can't be the Emperor, because you are not a monarchy.
Dang. So Milan can get rid of it at least. No way to a republic, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Ambrosian Republic, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's a bit annoying. But yeah, I've been an elector since Season 1.
Right.
Also, I remember you talking about the trade nodes and the lands, like Milan getting most of the Venetian land to a certain extent would make sense. We just kind of agreed on the border that we have right now, like what's left of Genoa and Montferrat and Savoy, that's his land. And I'll also made a deal with Austria, so all the former Venetian lands will become mine, so the entire state of Venetia.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, to a certain extent, from my point of view, it's kind of like it's really most beneficial for me to just keep the status quo, I'd say.
I mean, one thing that I was talking about is usually I don't advise players to have 2 active merchants, so 2 places collecting from trade. You might be the exception to that, because you probably would earn more because you don't have very many merchants. As soon as you start getting more merchants, then that's going to get less and less viable. But at the moment, having just 2, you might actually want to be collecting in both Genoa and Venice.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I've been at times collecting at Venetian trade node, but I've been swapping a bit. And it seems to be a slight increase in just having on Genoa with the trader there.
Yeah, if you've been experimenting with it, then great. That was just one query I had. It's like, would this be possible?
Yeah. Of course, now I have managed to take the last of the Venetian land, so that could change with another center of trade. Especially with all the bonus there.
So, Poet is saying, reading from the wiki, you can lose submission by culture shifting out of the Latin culture group, becoming the Emperor, becoming Italy, or having your capital outside of the Empire.
Interesting.
But if your capital is outside the Empire, you're not an imperial state, so that one probably less so. But yeah, culture shifting apparently will work.
Alright, then that's something I might actually try to do that debuff.
Yeah, because that debuff is horrific. I do remember really struggling with it when I did that Italy game that time.
Yeah, and also the minus on the yearly prestige and the increase of stability cost don't really help either.
I mean, the stability cost thing is going to really hit Milan if they have that same problem. Because being a republic, your stability costs can really skyrocket. Like, he's already got a 52% stability cost modifier from 74 Republican tradition. That's just nasty.
Yeah, no, that just sounds sick. But yeah, another thing I thought was a bit funny was that last session at the end, I discovered that my coast has been raided. And I panicked and built way over my force limit, which caused me to get that third place in Navy.
Right.
I kind of felt like I thought enemies everywhere, and in turn built. I think it was 30 more galleys. Just like no more raids.
I mean, it does work. It's a good deterrent, especially. Well, do you have them on Protect from Piracy at the moment?
I had, but I currently have them off, and I'm saving a bit on the sailors, and I'm going to send them out again.
Fair enough. Yeah, if you're over the force limit, that will definitely cost you a lot in sailors, so you need to build dockyards to counter that.
Yeah, I've done. I've managed to build dockyards in all my provinces now.
Nice. Yeah, that's actually one thing I haven't really done, is looked at people's building. I might need to start doing that, just get an idea of where people are.
Yeah. And... oh yeah, that's also one thing I might want to mention. I enjoy also this border because it makes it very easy for me to defend myself if anyone comes from the north.
Mm-hmm.
Just place a few force in the mountains and no one can really touch me.
I mean, that's always the benefit of being in Italy. So as long as you control that northern area, then, except by sea, you're completely safe. But if you're Italy, you have a massive coastline, therefore you probably have a big navy as well. So, and also just a ridiculous amount of development. I've been in constant awe of how big Rome is growing. Like, Rome has consistently been the biggest city in the world, I think, except for the first session, where Cusco was.
Yeah, I think no, possibly, or I think I might have managed to overlap at the end, I don't know.
Actually, I can double check that, because I keep the scores. So, Papal State, just need to find you on my list. Ah, you're up there, second place. Oh yeah, you're second overall. You realise that?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised actually, but...
I was wrong. Rome has been consistently the largest city in the world.
Keeping that city. And I've just been stacking all the development reduction bonus I can get.
Makes sense. Makes
like
absolute sense.
I think I'm on like almost 60% if I encourage on the capital.
Nice. Yeah, and you have economic ideas already finished off, which is that lovely, lovely 20%. Like, that really helps. Plus your farmlands. And you have a lot of farmlands. So yeah, there's a lot of places you could be building up.
Absolutely. I'm already starting to do that. And also, one final thing, because this is going to be very interesting. You talked about, like, the Italians fighting against Castile to get Naples.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's gonna happen, but it's gonna be a phony war. He's basically promised all of Naples and Sicily and Malta to me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like, here you go, I don't need this. And I didn't say no when he offered it.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah, so you're going to see, not this session, maybe next one, a much bigger pope.
That's going to be really good for you. That's another 2 centres of trade, and Genoa is the biggest one in the world, so that's going to be huge.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to monopolize it quite easily, I'd say.
So I did just notice... oh no, that's you. Level 3. Yeah, I was wondering if France was going to try to edge in, but it doesn't look like he's really upgrading. And he's only got 1 centre of trade in the node now anyway.
If I heard him correctly, he's actually planning to move to the English Channel.
Okay.
Which, yeah, with England and Netherlands, that could be quite interesting. I don't know how he's going to... if he's going to compete, or just looking at, like, that's going to be a big pie. I want a small piece of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's only going to have 1 centre of trade in the node, which is not going to give him very much control, especially as he's going to be up against the English and the Dutch. So yeah, we'll keep an eye. We'll see how that goes. And also, sorry, I've got to go, Blue Flames.
Yeah. Have fun.
Yep, thanks for stopping by.